Are you ready?
Agility from the champion. Oh, deep six! That could be it. Delivered this deep six.
Good evening. This is episode 155. Tonight is Sunday, nearly 10 o'clock on the East Coast. We are coming off the heels of an amazing wrestling weekend, but as you see right now, I'm alone, but I'm really not. As I'm joined today by Jacob from Back Sports Page and Joey Aguila, our very own from the Aftermath Pro Wrestling Podcast. Guys, how you doing? Welcome.
Very good today. Oh my gosh. Very, very good day. Yesterday was amazing. Loved the AAA show that they put on. We'll get more into that in a little bit. So
Joe,
What's up,
how you
Wayne?
doing
What's
today?
up?
You just came from a Mets game, right?
Heck yeah, Mets won big this weekend. They swept the Marlins. We got the Knicks coming up in the finals this week. We had Clash in Italy. AAA had a great show. It was a great weekend.
Let me ask you, do you really want Wembyama? Because the
Oh,
Knicks
I want
fans
them
were
all.
chanting, we want Wemby. We
I
want
want
Wemby.
every
do you really
freaking-
want that
I want every foot
7'5"
of 'em.
guy at the hole
Heck yeah.
defending? Oh
yeah,
boy,
let's get
we'll
'em.
see. We will see. Sometimes you got to be careful what you wish for. I would not be one of trying to drive in on that guy. That's for sure. So the Knicks got to be
Listen.
ready.
Listen, we just got to get Danhausen to curse the San Antonio Spurs, and we're good.
I don't think he will. I don't think he's gonna play. I don't think he's gonna overplay his hand here. I think Danhausen's gotten on a hot streak with cursing, and he's been 100%. If I'm him,
there's a
I
strong-
would bow
there's-
out. And
There's a
just be
strong
like,
class
hey.
of wrestling legends from Texas, so I imagine that they probably just want to piss them off. So
Yeah, if I were him,
We'll
I would
see.
just bow out and be like, "Hey, may the best team win." There.
where's his
So-
courtside seats? So he needs his courtside seats, and then maybe.
Yes, he does need his courtside seat, and they better give it to him. Madison Square Garden's making enough money ripping off their fans by, what the prices that they're charging for people coming into these games. That's why
Easily.
I'm not a fan of many
Easily.
teams. That's why I'm not a fan of many New York teams.
Oh, that's why.
That's why I love my out of market teams. Boston, I get in for cheap. Brooklyn, I get in for cheap. Washington Commanders, get in for cheap. Play half the price in Park, and it's great. It's great. I don't have to worry about opening my wallets, going to Madison Square Garden, paying $4,000 for tickets for a game. One game that lasts 2 hours. I'm gonna shell out $4,000? No way! What are they thinking, Joe? What are they thinking, Jacob? I hope they don't deal with this in Vegas. I think Golden Knight tickets are a lot more reasonable there.
yeah, they're pretty reasonable, I will say. They've gotten a little bit more expensive over time, but I think the season ticket holders are getting like a cheaper cut next year, so it's all good. And plus, we're in the Stanley Cup final, so
Good for
Gotta
you
love that.
guys. Good for you
Yeah.
guys. Hope you guys do it. I was really hoping Montreal would be the opponent for Golden Knights, but it's gonna be a good one. I can't wait.
still be a lot of fun. So
All right, so we got some wrestling to talk about, and it has been great. It's been a really good weekend for wrestling. It's really been a good 2 weeks for wrestling. We've been blessed with back-to-back weekends of solid wrestling, and there's really been nothing boring a part of this. This really hasn't been a boring part of this season in between WrestleMania and SummerSlam to really talk about too much, just because we have a little AEW to help offset some of that time too as well. But anyhow, we're gonna talk tonight's WWE Clash in Italy. We're gonna preview King of the Ring, but first we gotta talk about last night's AAA main event, the OG Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano. What a match that we saw. I was losing my mind, and I could not believe the masterpiece that we were getting. This match is a match that really shouldn't have even happened. This whole feud was all by accident. All because OG Grande Americano Chad Gable was out and injured, and they wanted to kind of keep it going with Ludwig Kaiser hopping in, and as a also comedic joke, to be El Grande Americano 2. And Jacob, I would like you to take it from here. Your thoughts about this whole El Grande versus El Grande feud in the match that we got last night.
Well, going from the start, it was such a great personification of lucha libre wrestling. You had the mariachis coming out. You can tell the crowd was really into it to start the match. They were chanting "Bella, Bella." If you understand what that means in Spanish, you know it means something a little bit more. But overall, great from start to finish. I love watching the matches just because of how it was built up. Like so much suspense in it. You didn't like, oh my gosh, here comes Chad Gable's buddies, and then here comes the original. Like it was such a great storytelling aspect of it. And not only that, but with El Grande Americano, Ludwig like limping, like, oh my god, like this guy looks like he's hurt. He goes bounces off the rope and then he falls forward. Like there was so much suspense to it, and that's what really kept me enthralled. And I think personally, this is the type of stuff that you don't see in WWE. And yeah, some people are gonna say like Ludwig Kaiser was supposed to win, but this type of storytelling is something that you don't see in WWE very often. Like you see like matches that are like, oh, this person's favored to win, like by a lot, and then they win. But with this match, I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. It's like, oh my god, this is over. Like, no, it wasn't. So excellent.
Yeah, as we were getting into deep waters, and as the minutes were going by, we were passing a half-hour mark, I was getting to the edge of my seat on this one.
Yeah, it was such a great show with such a great main event with it too. And like I said, it really personifies what like lucha libre wrestling is about. It's that storytelling aspect of it. It's the tapping into the history of it. Like Ludwig Kaiser, he really was for the Mexican people, and that's what made it even more awesome. Just the fact that he rallied behind them and incorporated that into his storytelling side, the storytelling side of his thing. Oh my god, just and even his girl got involved with it, which was like amazing too. It was like, oh, she got banned. Nope, I got a ticket. So
yes, that was great. Now, how about the dynamic of OG Grande Americano's heel work? Like he was locked in on evil luchador status. Like he went to a dark place during this match.
oh,
And
he was
that heel work that he did last night really, really helped fans, myself, to really get behind El Grande Americano.
no easily. He even mentioned this and like his after the match was over. He's like, I wanted to go and take down every luchador and just diminish lucha libre wrestling. But he really did a great job of like showing his aggressive side. And I think Chad Gable doesn't get enough credit for his heel work because Chad Gable does a terrific job of just being more aggressive, tapping into that side. Like he was trying to tear off the mask of Ludwig Kaiser and just really going into it. And I thought like, oh my god, he's legit gonna tear it off. And it's just, again, that's part of what made this match special. It was a bloodbath, mainly with Chad Gable just tapping into that inner heel, working it to every single aspect. And
yeah, his heel work was absolutely amazing. Now the question is, where do we go with Chad Gable from here? It's that Chad Gable was kind of leaning back towards a face persona as he was showing his respect to El Grande Americano, Ludwig Kaiser, and he brought his family out. It was a really good moment. But with the heel work that he did last night, it was something that we really haven't seen too often because we've always had the comedic version of Chad Gable. This was a different version of Chad Gable that we really have not seen. We've barely even seen at all. And I think this is something that WWE could very well lean into going forward as the superb athlete he is, leaning more into like a darker persona. What do you think we do with Chad Gable from here? Because I'm not banking on the fact like there's no telling if WWE is gonna really push Gable hard from here. I'm not too sure if I'm confident in that, but I feel like there is something there with Chad Gable and the fact that you can start pushing him like a Daniel Bryan or a Kurt Angle here.
I don't. That's a good question. I think the first thing that really comes off the top of my head is maybe he gets a good mid card run, and maybe he kind of goes town with that. I think that would definitely help Chad Gable quite a bit. He has had some success in the mid card, so maybe do that once more and build off that momentum and see where it goes. But I think personally, this is like an exciting. I'm excited to see where he goes, regardless. Like if he's going to go on that mid card run, maybe he does more work in AAA. I'm excited to see what happens with this after this match. And it should set him up very nicely.
And how about how do you feel about Undertaker's booking in comparison to the booking of other WWE brands?
Oh my gosh, like he does so good with this, like his brand of storytelling. Like you saw that last night. Like it was like here's what it felt like with yesterday's main event. It felt a little bit like WrestleMania 40, where you had a little bit of everything thrown in, and it was like, oh my god, this is the end with Cody Rhodes' match. But it was better. Like it felt like it was a lot more suspenseful. So I think with the Undertaker, he really knows what to do with when he's not given too much, and then he just runs with it. And I think that's something that he really excels at.
For sure. Jacob, we're going to come right back to you in 1 second. Joe, I want to get your thoughts on what you thought about Grande versus Grande main event on AAA last night.
So this was an amazing moment for two guys who I think really deserve it, who have carried this storyline now for who knows? It's been more than a year, definitely. And so, like, I see here we got Ludwig Kaiser and Chad Gable putting on a main event, like WrestleMania caliber main event match to two guys who definitely were not banking on having that type of match ever, right? And so, like, now we could see like what both of these guys are capable of when given that spotlight. I think it was a type of match that you can show non-wrestling fans and they can get into and find it super exciting and intriguing and want to know more. And it's very it's like easy to see a mask versus mask, and like the promo leading into the match with Kaiser, going eye for an eye, blood for blood, mask for mask. Like that was so cool. And then just seeing all of that storytelling culminate in a match of this caliber, where two guys just show what they're capable of. Both of them are leaving this match completely elevated from where they were. Sky's the limit for both of them. And I think, honestly, yes, Chad Gable did show off how well he could work as a heel, but the pop that he got at the end, even when he unmasked, he wasn't a heel at that point. He was welcomed. It was like an embrace of a moment. And like, could that moment have happened if it was Kaiser on the other end? If it was the other way? I think so, for sure. But given everything that Ludwig Kaiser brings to the character of El Grande Americano, the fact that he's fluent in Spanish, that the Mexican fan base fully embraced him as El Grande Americano. I think, and not to mention, obviously, like the personal, battles he's been going through recently leading up to this match, like giving him this victory moment, with his girl, in front of the crowd. I mean, it was poetry. It's art, and I think that it could appeal to, like I said, non-wrestling fans can take a look at it and like leave wanting to watch more. And I think that's beautiful storytelling.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you know what? You know what's very interesting about this whole thing? This would have never happened if Chad Gable doesn't get injured last year. This would have never happened. Because how it originally unfolded was Chad Gable was backstage as El Grande Americano, and Chad Gable said he had to go away for a while, or I think he said it even as he was El Grande Americano. He said he had to go away for a while in a backstage segment, and then you see Ludwig Kaiser back, behind him, like, maybe something I could do. You knew his wheels were turning. And then the week later, you see El Grande make his debut, and everyone's like, "What the heck is going on?" I mean, it was great. It was a way for WWE to keep this new gimmick kind of going in a way. So this really was not even supposed to happen, and the fact that we came a long way from that incident where Chad Gable had to go away for a while and Ludwig Kaiser taking over to where we got now, the whole story and dynamic of how this unfolded, and the match that we got last night, and this type of match, I never thought I would have seen anything as good on a WWE platform just based on the matches that we've basically been getting for the past few years. Like we got last night. We got blood. We got a great story. And this match went on, I want to say 45 minutes.
Yeah, boy, wow.
45-minute banger. Jacob, before you go, and before we continue on with talking tonight, Clash in Italy, do you have any last second thoughts about what we saw last night with AAA?
I think with AAA, just the fact that this wasn't really supposed to be planned made it even better. It's something that, like, oh my God, this is organic. This just came completely out of the blue. And it's that opportunity that fans grasped onto. So amazing stuff. Great work from all parties involved. Definitely one of the best matches of the year.
One last question. Do you think, because of what we saw last night, do you think we get El Grande Americano versus Dom Mysterio down the line at maybe, say, Triple Mania in Las Vegas?
I think that's a possibility. It would be absolutely huge. I can tell you that much.
I'm telling you guys right now. This is the first time we're hearing about it because we're the first ones talking about it, actually. So for those of you guys that are listening or will be watching, nobody else is talking about it, so why not throw out the idea? Dominic Mysterio defending against El Grande. El Grande is clearly leveled up. He's so loved. He's so over. You got to slot him into that world title scene. And
absolutely,
he's clearly elevated, and now he got some star power on the AAA roster. So I'm calling it. And me and a couple guys, we're even considering maybe taking a 2-3 day trip to Vegas just to catch AAA. So Triple Mania. So of course, if we do, we will let you know. But we will see what happens there. But Jacob, thank you so much for joining us for this little segment of talking AAA, and we will talk to you soon.
See you around the bend.
Alrighty. So that was Jacob from Back Sports Page. We are live on not only the Aftermath Pro Wrestling Podcast YouTube channel, but also on Back Sports Page. So thank you to Back Sports Page for allowing us to be on, as we are sponsored by Back Sports Page. So That was awesome for Jacob to hop on just for a couple minutes to talk AAA because he's really, out of everyone I talked to that likes AEW, he's really the only one that's been the most positive about last night's main event with AAA. You know, all the diehard AEW guys, they're like, it wasn't that great. Like, all right.
Listen, I think that AAA is a great platform for underutilized or not as utilized talent to go over there. Like, look at the War Raiders; they were in a tag team match. Bailey's getting mixed up in there. Lola Vice was on the card, so you get some WWE star power carrying a little bit of the fan base with them to new eyes going down to AAA, and you have AAA homegrown talent and legends and all the storytelling that's already input in AAA. It's great. It's a great platform to have.
Absolutely, yeah. AAA is has been putting on really really good shows. It's definitely a different alternative within WWE that's different than Raw and SmackDown. SmackDown's also had some phenomenal wrestling over the past couple of years with Ilya Dragunov, Carmelo, Trick Williams, having some really really good matches on there. The U.S. Various U.S. Championship title open challenge matches amongst different champions such as Sami Zayn and Ilya. We've had a lot of good stuff there. So SmackDown has been very good. NXT is trying to build momentum and build the new names. So I got my eye on them. But let's talk Clash.
It would be cool to do before we get there. It would be cool
Yeah.
to just do a four-way Survivor Series with all four brands. You know, I think AAA's on its way to being a fourth legitimate brand, and like it could contend in like a WrestleMania stage or something like that, or a Survivor Series stage. I think I would definitely see that. I would love to see that.
No, absolutely. I mean, you got to definitely continue to build some star power over there.
Yeah.
But their wrestling is a legit brand. I mean, let's do AAA versus NXT show, and
Yeah.
go from there. Maybe throw TNA in there too as well with the, WWE's partnership. Like you can really have fun with this.
And then something you could bring around the world too, like something like a Clash in Italy. You know, bring a couple of those matches and like it's global audience right there.
You can legitimately do a WWE Worlds Collide pay per view at this point. You
Yeah.
can. You can bring in some New Japan guys, or from whatever Japanese organization WWE has a pretty good relationship with. You can bring in some TNA guys. You can bring in AAA guys, NXT guys, and just do like a Worlds
TNA.
Collide pay per view and have your headlining match be like a WWE Championship match or something. But anyway, moving on. Today was Clash in Italy, which started at 2 o'clock, ended by 5. So it was good to have that early pay per view. When we have to do it, we hop on late at night, 11, 11:30, 12 midnight, talking pay per views. But it's also kind of fun in a way to be able to get done with the show early. I had people over today. We had ordered a couple pies of pizza, just shooting the breeze, some cigars, just enjoying the day. Went outside after the pay-per-view, 5 p.m., just sitting outside, enjoying the breeze. And it was a good day. Good day to have a afternoon pay-per-view. But let's start here. Clash of Italy, one of the most talked about matches. We had Oba Femi in a return match versus Brock Lesnar. So I was kind of on the fence about having Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar go at it again, because then if they were to go at it again, then there was the possibility of a trilogy, which we're more than likely now getting. My fantasy booking was to have Oba Femi just beat Brock Lesnar, one and done. Brock Lesnar goes off to this, goes off in the sun and what have you. And have Oba Femi being the king of the ring, which we'll talk about later. Steamroll everybody. Be number one contender after winning King of the Ring. Call him King Oba. And have Oba Femi go against the world champion of his choice at SummerSlam. However, although Oba Femi is in the King of the Ring, which we'll talk about later, they decided to book Brock Lesnar a couple weeks ago to do a surprise attack. Surprise! I'm not retired! And attack Obafemi for his loss at WrestleMania to Oba within 3-4 minutes. There were many 3-4 minute matches at WrestleMania, but I digress. And so that sets up the stage for Obafemi wanting revenge, and we get the match Oba versus Brock Lesnar today, in which match starts right out the gate. Brock Lesnar attacks Obafemi with the F5 and F5 after F5. Joe, what did you think of this match?
For me, it's hard not to compare this feud with the two matches that you had, the first two matches that you had between, well, I guess really not, the later run of Brock versus Goldberg. Not the WrestleMania 21, but like the later run where the first match, it was a squash pretty much with Goldberg spearing Lesnar a couple times, and then that was it. And then it wasn't until that WrestleMania where Brock had that revenge match and then went over. And similar to this, where we had a very quick match between Oba and Brock at WrestleMania. I'm not much of a purist, but for Brock Lesnar to do the whole theatrics of taking the gloves and the boots and leaving in the ring and having this emotional moment with Paul Heyman, all these journalists and headlines the next couple of days was Brock Lesnar retiring, and fans tweeting and posting all of this, we love Brock, thank you Brock, all of this stuff, all of it just to do a rematch at Clash in Italy. I think it's a great marketing tool, but what does that do to the legacy and the tradition of leaving it all in the ring? You know, like literally you're supposed to leave it all in the ring. And so like, why do that? Just for the theatrics, just for the moment, just for the pop? But having said that, I love this match. Like the actual logistics of this match was far better than the WrestleMania one. At least it went back and forth. At least, I mean, to a degree. I think that it went the way that it should have went in terms of just building this story. Now, what I think could have, or maybe might still happen, could potentially, if Obafemi is done with the Brock Lesnar thing and is now setting his eyes on King of the Ring, becoming King Oba, going to SummerSlam and going into the world title picture, I think that's great. I don't think he needs Brock Lesnar at this point because he still looked strong tonight. He still looked like Obafemi, and I think Brock Lesnar, if he's planning on landing the plane around SummerSlam, I think Gunther's free. Now that he's not doing anything with Cody Rhodes. Maybe he's still doing something with Cody Rhodes, but I was hoping that at some point with Brock Lesnar celebrating his victory tonight, that Gunther was going to come by and attack, you know, seeing that he came from a loss. And so now he's kind of wanting to take it out on someone, and then why not try to retire the beast for real this time? But could that be where they go? Who knows?
The only thing where I believe that we're going to be getting a third match, a rubber match, is because Brock Lesnar left the ring today after the match, and he was saying 1 and 1, 1 plus 1. So basically alluding to, I don't know what he was trying to say, but we understood. But he was saying 1 plus 1, and like, what are you doing, Steiner math here? Like, what's going on? But he was saying 1 and 1.
1 and 1.
And so basically, that basically tells me that they're hinting towards a third match, a rubber match, which of course Obafemi's got to win. Got to win.
Does that mean
ifs, ands, or buts about it? And I think they maybe do that at Night of Champions.
Okay.
Possibly, I don't know. Like, you know, my booking for Oba is he needs to win the King of the Ring tournament and become a King Oba. So
is there any way to put the strap on Brock before SummerSlam? so that King Oba could pick Brock.
Ideally, I think that can. I think that can work. But I feel like Roman Reigns is, unless Lesnar picks a fight with Cody again, I don't know how
Yeah.
you do that. And Roman's kind of tied up with MFT, which we'll talk about a little later, and his storyline. Yeah, I mean it would make sense, but there's got. I mean, you can definitely do that, but there's
Too many
like
twists in the road to get
how do you
there.
tell the story to get there is
Yeah.
my issue with that one.
I just see Obafemi's name in that tournament, and I'm like, how is he going to lose? You know? But at the same time, who knows?
I mean, it's possible that they just don't do it.
Or
But
it could be that Brock Lesnar like gets involved or something like that, or there's a way. I mean, it's a fatal 4-way match, so anyone could win. It doesn't necessarily, but who knows?
yeah, it is possible that they just don't do it. But then why have Lesnar say what he said? 1-to-1, because that just hints that just screams to me and the whole wrestling world that it's going to be a third match involved for that. So when you do that, how you fit Obafemi into the King of the so how you fit Kobe Obafema Obi blah. Hold on, rewind. So how you fit Obafemi into this with winning the King of the Ring and Lesnar at the same time? I don't really know how you can book both Oba winning the King of the Ring tournament, getting a match at SummerSlam, and then when you would book a third match with Lesnar, unless you do a night one, night two scenario for SummerSlam. Um, but we'll have to see there what we do. Maybe you can do Oba winning the King of the Ring, which we'll talk more about later. But you can have Oba winning King of the Ring here. And then Lesnar come out and challenge Oba for one more match to take the King of the Ring spot to become champion. So basically, you have Oba win King of the Ring. Brock be like, "Hey, I just beat you. I want to challenge you for your number one contender spot," and the winner goes on to face Roman Reigns the next night
I like that idea a lot.
or Cody.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how you do
So
it, right?
you
That's
can
how you get around it. Like, continue to have Brock and Oba be a story that you're building while also building King Oba. That'd be cool. And also, you got to think that where did we put the first Oba and Brock match? It was on the pre-show on ESPN to try to get all these eyes over to the actual product of WrestleMania, And so whereas this one was on the card, right? It was a booked match on the card. So I think that also had to do with the fact like why the match was so short at WrestleMania. WrestleMania's match was really about building those moments. This match was about building the story, and so I think that's why they could have afforded a lot more time in the match, and also obviously you want to see Brock answer to what happened at WrestleMania. So seeing a Brock heavy match was really a good thing to see.
So quick notes about Oba versus Lesnar. It was a car crash of a match. I loved how Oba had his potential come back in, and I was getting very very happy at that point, and almost to the point where I thought that actually maybe WWE wasn't going to pull the trigger on Brock tonight. But Oba took 7 F5s. One of them, his 6th F5 was through a table, and then you just see. I love how Oba Femi just popped up and stood right up after that. So that was good. Oba had a great comeback, but then Brock escaped that power bomb, which was Oba Femi's finishing move, and turned that into another F5, and Brock Lesnar gets the win there. So that is how the match unraveled. Good match. I was kind of hoping that they wouldn't do this match because just to kind of have a little bit of a clear direction for Oba with Oba Open Challenge and then King of the Ring and stuff. But now we'll see what they're gonna do. I don't even know what they're gonna do as far as who Roman's contender, SummerSlam opponent's gonna be, what they're gonna do there. But we'll get all to that in a few minutes. But anyhow, Over vs. Brock, great match all in all. So tonight, Clash in Italy started off with Cody Rhodes defending his WWE Championship against Gunther. Pretty good match that we had gotten here. It was a pretty quick, fast paced in the beginning, which I loved. Gunther loses to Cody in the pinfall. But Gunther's foot was under the rope before the 3 count even took place. The referee didn't see it, counted to 3, and Cody gets the win. But Gunther was complaining to the ref that his foot was under the rope, but the ref made his decision final, wouldn't reverse it. I was expecting maybe another ref to come out to convince him to continue the match, which would have been pretty cool. But this, all in all, is basically more than likely going to set up another match at Night of Champions. I would think Gunther versus Cody rematch, in which Cody might very well lose to Gunther there, but it really all depends if they what they have in store for SummerSlam. If they're going to do Cody versus Punk or Cody versus King of the Ring winner. Joe, what did you think of this?
I thought it was okay. I thought that the match, the way that it went back and forth, and to me, like you said, I think it could have gone either way. Though, but my hang up with the match was that where do we go from here with Gunther? And I think that what Cody Rhodes had mentioned at the post show, like he was like the first guest on the post show, and he had mentioned, he was like, yeah, if Gunther wants a rematch, he can have a rematch. And I like that level of, I guess, confidence in Cody Rhodes as a champion, that he's a fighting champion, and he was like, yeah, I saw that replay, and if he thinks that he deserves a rematch, give it to him. And so I like that he's not going to be running away from it, And also, I like that there was a little bit of arrogance to Cody Rhodes in the ring, as Gunther is clearly fighting with the ref, and Cody's like, nope, a win's a win. I won. And he's just ignoring it completely, where, like, in my opinion, like a white hot baby face champion might do the honorable thing. It's like, let's just restart it. But he's like, nope, I won. I got away with it. A win's a win. And so it makes me think. And also, during the commentary, who was it? Corey Graves was mentioning, obviously mentioning the storyline with Sami Zayn getting in Cody Rhodes' head. Like, could it be, like, again, I think we've been even saying this, like, with Cody Rhodes potentially turning heel at some point. Could he technically didn't really win, or he won in a way where it was like, well, he kind of cheated a little bit, there's a case to say that he's not really a champion here. And so I think this is a good stepping stone in the story that's not yet complete. And I love the idea of a rematch at Night of Champions, because then it's coming full circle with the Night of Champions first match that they had, and it would happen again at Riyadh. And I think that would be coming full circle and a perfect platform for a title exchange.
Absolutely. Again, it's kind of hard to call if Cody, like, it's a hard one for me to predict personally if Cody's gonna escape Night of Champions champion, because I'm not really too sure where the long-term plans are right now at the moment. So it's not really quite obvious to me. I mean, yeah, we've shot out different ideas of where they could go, but again, I think they might be going Cody Punk SummerSlam. So with that being said, it's very possible we get that return match. Cody wins again. But it really just all depends what the end game is here for the SummerSlam main event. But good match all in all. Great way to start the show. May have been just a tad short.
Short, right? I
Just
was
a tad
surprised.
short. I was
Yeah, I was
surprised too.
surprised
I
that
thought
he
we were gonna
won
get a
so
Gunther kick out
clean.
there.
Yeah, he won super
Well, it
clean.
really wasn't clean, but
Oh, that wasn't a clean ending, but I mean, it
no
was like
shenanigans other than that.
I think it was short too. Like I could have seen another false finish there.
Yeah, because that only filled up not barely even 20 minutes of the show. We were
Yeah.
inside 20 minutes when that match was done. The next match we're going to talk about really covered the rest of, with entrances and everything, with the break that we got after the Cody versus Gunther match. And then with the next match with the entrances and everything, really pushed us to just about the 1 hour mark here, as Rhea Ripley was defending her title against Jade Cargill. A side note, I think this is probably Jade Cargill's longest match that she's had in WWE. She still really moves around very awkward to me, and I don't know. I just don't know if that's how she is or if she's still green. But again, watching Jade Cargill moving around the ring she gets very awkward at times. But I will give her credit. One, she lasted. She this is the longest match she's had in WWE. The longest matches she's probably had in her wrestling career. I mean, they basically went out there somewhere between 20 to 30 minutes. Jade Cargill really sold very well for Rhea. She moved around very good for the most part. No really mistakes in that match. In fact, the mistake in that match was B-Fab messing up the rope break.
The foot.
So that was the big botch. So I would not be like, how do you mess that up? I wouldn't be surprised if B-Fab gets released. But anyway, I just think it's just dead weight. I don't think Jade Cargill needs baddies. But anyhow, Jade Cargill, looks very good here. Really, no complaints. I certainly did not want Jade Cargill to win the title here by any means. Needs to keep away from the having the title match, unless WWE decides to book her better than they did. The problem we had with Jade Cargill as she was a WWE champion is now the problem we're having with Liv Morgan as she's been world champion since WrestleMania nearly 2 months and has not defended her title yet, thanks to WWE creative. What are they waiting for? Stephanie Ruck here to come back? I don't know. But point being is Rhea Ripley is our champ. She won tonight. They both did very good in this match. So yeah, we get to the point where B-Fab and Michin come in to interfere, nearly costing Rhea the win. And B-Fab pretty much just about messed up that spot. But then we get Charlotte coming out from the Timekeepers area. Does a crossbody onto B-Fab and Michin and taking them out. And then we see Rhea beat Jade with the Riptide. What did you think of this match?
So, I thought that this was definitely Jade Cargill's best match in WWE, which I think is the expectation that she continues to grow and continues to put out better matches, especially if they're going to continue to give her the opportunity to be in a world title picture. I mean, she looks like $1 million. I think she carried herself in the match, like you said, sold for Rhea Ripley. Even though she looks the way that she looks, the fact that she's able to take moves and make other people look strong, I mean, I don't think she was able to have this type of match or this caliber of a match in AEW back a couple years ago, and so I think that we're seeing the continued growth and the progress and there's still obviously more to come. One, I want to shout out a crazy bump that she took. She was basically on Rhea Ripley's shoulders. It was like an electric chair. It was a front bump electric chair right onto the apron. It looked so nasty. I was so impressed with both contenders in the match. There's a lot of back and forth, trying to set up each other, a finisher here and there, and like the fact that she's able to do a lot of that chain wrestling and being able to transition and trust her dance partner at that point to keep her safe and to keep her dance partner safe and on the other side, this is a lot of growth in Jade Cargill, and this is also a testament to how great of a dance partner Rhea Ripley has become. I agree that this was the right move to keep the belt on Rhea, keep it away from Jade because she doesn't need it right this second. She had it, so she has legitimacy in the world title picture or in the main event picture for the women's division, whatever that might look like. And so I don't know where the women's division goes from here. I like the added layer of Charlotte Flair, and I know she wasn't there, but Alexa Bliss was, her character and that whole storyline, like how they're all still kind of mixed up there. Do we see continued feud between the three baddies versus the three good guys? I don't know. I don't think they need it, but yeah, good match. I don't know where we go from here, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the long run, WWE is gonna. I think we're gonna get Charlotte and Jade Cargill. I would expect Jade Cargill to go off on Charlotte for costing her the match, and I would expect Jade and Charlotte to have a one-on-one match at some point,
like a non-title feud.
Yeah, and then I think after that, when Charlotte's done with Jade, I think Charlotte's gonna at some point turn her attention to Rhea Ripley. I think that's gonna happen at some point. Rhea's become a bigger superstar. Charlotte's there, so they are also tied 1-1 at WrestleMania. We could see a WrestleMania trilogy match there. I would not be mad at it.
Does she hold it all the way to WrestleMania?
Why not? Why not? And besides Triple H, it's not often when Triple H plays hot potato with championship belts. On occasion, but with the world titles, he doesn't really play hot potato with the belt.
Yeah, we got Money in the Bank in between there. We have a lot of other stuff, and there's Survivor Series and all these other events that I'm sure that they're gonna push on our faces to distract us.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, you're gonna have the Queen of the Ring tournament starting tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have, Money in the Bank. So a lot, and then not too far after that, believe it or not, Royal Rumble will just be a couple months after that. So
yeah, interesting choice to have Liv Morgan in the tournament. To have the defending championship. Oh,
we'll talk about that. I don't like that.
Yeah, is Jade Cargill in there? I don't remember the bracket.
Not that I saw. I didn't look at the whole entire bracket.
It's a thing.
We do have the brackets. We will post up in this second.
We'll get to it.
But we had Becky Lynch defends her Intercontinental Championship against Sol Ruca. And, we had some pretty good moves here. So here's the thing. I have a problem. And my problem is, and Sean Ross Sapp talks about this often on Fightful, how, one, we have too many belts across all promotions. And the other thing, too, is that the other problem is you lose so many matches, and that earns you a WWE title match? Like, the booking here made no sense. You basically had Sol Ruca lose every single main roster match leading up to her Intercontinental match tonight with Becky Lynch. Sol Ruca did not earn the IC title match. Yeah, she had a couple good bangers with Liv Morgan, but she didn't win a number one contender. She didn't win any match. Why was she number one contender to face Becky Lynch?
Yeah, great question.
It makes no sense. And they did this last year. I love Nikki Bella. I met her in person the moment I got off the plane in Vegas. And, very, very, very nice, down to earth. But when she came onto the scene last year, she basically lost 7 or 8 straight matches, and then she gets a world title match. I mean, Triple H, if you're listening, what are we doing here? Whatever happened to earning your title shot and winning tournaments and being number one contender, winning a gauntlet match for a number one contender match? Like, since when does wins and losses not matter anymore and you lose your way and, oh, okay, yeah, we'll reward you with a title match because you lost 5 straight matches? I mean, come on.
Yep, they literally did that with Bayley, and they kept that on Raw. They had a gauntlet match to make Bayley the number one contender. Then they had a match on Raw, and it was for the IC title. Yeah, it was when AJ Lee had it, and they did an AJ Lee versus Bayley, and they left it on a Raw. And I was just like, well, that match had actual like wins on a win column that would legitimize why they would be in a title. But listen, they got shiny new toys, and they do lots of really cool flips, and this is what they want to showcase. It's for these viral moments. It's for the, she's getting a lot of internet attention with, just her style, and I get it. Listen, and I think the last time I was here, I said it too. Like, I'm not a big Sol Ruca fan. I agree. I think she needs to be a legitimate workhorse to get a workhorse title. Where I am always going to see the IC title as a workhorse title, and this is one of those cases. And this is a very good point with too many belts across all these promotions. It's these titles are making the superstar, and it's not the other way around. This is going to help elevate Sol Ruca. Sol Ruca is not elevating the IC title. It's going to have to be whoever she's wrestling at that point, and it's going to be legends who deserve shots like Bayley, continuing a feud with her. I'm sure they're going to want a rematch from their Saturday Night Main event match that they had, and so will that be the finally a time where Bayley's going to get the IC title? Probably not, in my opinion, but I agree. It was the wrong move, the wrong matchup for this. It's mismanaged for sure.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I feel like AEW's done a lot better in this area, but sometimes they do it too. But they have tournaments, wins and loss matters. They tally, and I don't know if they've done it lately, but they tally how many wins and how many losses they have for the year, all time, and stuff like that. And at one point, I think they had standings too as well. In the midst of storylines and what have you, and that's what I feel like WWE needs to do. Like, they don't necessarily need to keep track of wins and losses, but it needs to be made known to the fan that, hey, they've won X amount of matches in a row, they beat this person, and they have earned a title shot, and go from there.
I would have much rather, and listen, it's Clash in Italy. I, in my opinion, I understand that Julia hasn't really been doing too much to make a lasting impression, but she's part Italian and she's like a hometown girl, and so I think it would have been fine to give her a mid-card title match. And, it could have been Tiffy versus Julia for the U.S. title in that U.S. picture. I know Tiffy's busy with other storylines, but even if Tiffany Stratton won and retained the title, at least you have like a hometown match, and you can have both contenders raise their hands and, kind of have like a babyface moment there just for the hometown pop. Yeah. It would have been fine. And I think that would have been a better quality content and match than what we got with Becky and Sol Ruca. Not to take anything away from the moves or the match itself, and again, Sol Ruca, she did all these crazy flips. There was one backhand spring, and then she going into a moonsault that it looked great, but she didn't make too much contact with Becky Lynch, and Becky was the pro and made lemonade out of those lemons, and so I think that we'll see where it goes from here, but I'm not that optimistic with the mid-card titles in the women's division on either brand.
No, I agree. It's taken away from the contendership of the main title, first of all, and their heavy emphasis on the tag titles, which the women's tag titles have been heavily neglected. So
Yeah.
I'm glad we're seeing those titles matter a little bit more, but at the same time, um, it's just that WWE can't seem to tie it in all together and have all cylinders running well at the same time, like a strong mid card division,
Yeah.
strong main event, picture and tag team all at the same time.
Yeah,
So
you're right. Because now that we're focusing on this, like what's going on with the tag title, with like the men's tag titles,
yeah,
it's just
oh
like,
jeez, yeah,
you know what I mean? Like they were in the crowd, they weren't defended,
yeah.
But that's a whole other thing.
There needs to be one main champion, one mid card, one tag title for the both Raw and SmackDown to
Yeah.
cover both Raw and SmackDown. They should be floating. Same thing with the women. This way we can have better booking.
Even if
But
you have one as a TV title and one as the international title that you travel around the world defending, you know, like there you go. You have your straight up lanes and your platforms, and like this is where you're going to contend, and you have people who can sell tickets around the world, feuding there, and you got your people who could talk and put on a great show every week on the TV title type of show, and there's so many things you could do and not waste it, but here we are.
moving on, we have Jacob Fatu challenging Roman Reigns for the WWE Undisputed Championship. I'm sorry, the World Heavyweight Championship. But before we go there, those of you guys that are watching, make sure you guys hop on our YouTube channel. If you happen to be watching through YouTube, if you're watching through Instagram, hop on our YouTube channel. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, as this will help us out. A lot more content coming. We've put out a lot more content at this point. Actually, as of a month ago, late April, we had already produced more than we did in all of 2025.
Wow.
So, yeah, we've shattered every single number thanks to you guys, but our productivity has also shattered the productivity of all of 2025. So we are rolling here in the Aftermath Pro Wrestling Podcast. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. That will help us out, and we appreciate those of you guys that are watching and listening tonight. If you guys are listening by audio, again, hop on our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, as you'll see a lot more content through there. And not to mention, shout out to backsportspage.com and their YouTube channel for hosting our YouTube show that we are doing as well on the Aftermath Pro Wrestling Podcast and our Instagram Live as well. All right, so Jacob Fatu challenging Roman Reigns for the World's Heavyweight Championship. Roman wins with the spear through the table, followed by another spear. We had a pretty good match. I think this was a better, let's just say it for what it is, hardcore match, no holds barred. Jacob had a better match with Roman than he did with Drew at WrestleMania. A little bit of a longer match. I love the fact how they went into the crowd and Roman Reigns is throwing free popcorn from the concession stands, and they're going at it. Really unique feature to the arena was the wide steps. I don't know if you saw the wide steps in the crowd. That was a unique feature. That was a pretty unique looking part of the arena. Kind of, I wouldn't say awkward, but it was kind of like an eyesore throughout the whole show. But anyhow, they started going up the steps a little bit. Jacob loses to Roman Reigns here. Rumors were flying around that Jacob Fatu was injured ahead of this match during a house show as they were touring. The European tour started literally a couple days ago, I believe the 28th. So that being said, rumors were flying that Jacob Fatu had injured himself, and everyone's talking about how this match might be in doubt and that WWE is making backup plans, and the backup plan would have been Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns, blah, 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 blah. I wasn't buying into any of it. If there's only 2 or 3 reputable websites that I follow for wrestling, And if they don't report it, I don't buy into what anybody says on Facebook or Instagram regarding um, Wrestle Talk. I don't listen to Dave
Yeah.
Meltzer. Sportskeeda is the worst fake news of wrestling. Dave Meltzer likes to throw whatever news out there he wants. So I don't believe any of it until a reputable website actually brings it up. So I wasn't buying into this. Jacob Fatu looked very good. And even Corey Graves mentioned the rumors that Jacob Fatu may have been hurt going into this match, but he looked pretty good.
Yep.
So that's basically WWE commentary from Triple H shooting down that idea that Jacob Fatu was even hurt. But he looked very good here. Jacob Fatu loses as Jacob Fatu gets out of the ring. Roman Reigns and Usos are already basically celebrating down the entrance. We see MFT, Solo, Tala, Tonga, and Tangaloa, whatever. I get all the Tongas confused. But you see all of MFT at the corner on the other side of the guardrail, a corner of ringside, staring down Jacob Fatu. And Roman Reigns sees this and basically points at MFT and says, "They're next." I don't know if you caught that, Joe, but
I did,
that's
yeah.
where we're at. Because now, as a result of Jacob Fatu's loss tonight, he now has to serve and follow Roman Reigns and the Usos. But then you had that stare down with Jacob Fatu and Solo. And Solo staring down Roman. Honestly, it looks like we're gonna get another bloodline. We're gonna get another Roman versus Solo match, probably feud or some sort, leading to an MFT feud against the Bloodline. That's what it looks like to me.
Yep.
Quite possibly, we get the rumors and finally actually get the debut of Zilla Fatu, which I believe would make sense that he joins with MFT to kind of even the side. Is this a thing that's going to go on to Survivor Series? We have Bloodline versus MFT in War Games. I mean, this is what it's looking like right now. What do you think about that dynamic of what we saw post match tonight?
Yeah, I think the story here is still just starting. I mean, this really just started at Backlash, right? And this is the second match in a row where Roman Reigns bests Jacob Fatu, and it now creates a scenario where you wonder if, or the casual viewer might wonder if Jacob Fatu will ever get a world title, and I think that's going to be what we're looking at week to week as we see Jacob just in this role of servitude towards the tribal chief, and he already looked like a sad puppy dog in the corner. You know, he was pouting, and he's just like realizing what is this going to mean week to week. And then of course you see in the in the crowd the MFTs, and I think that what we're going to see, like you had just mentioned, that this is building again towards some type of stable war. And what better place than Survivor Series War Games, which I don't know, this is like, 4 or 5 years in a row that we're having some type of Samoan war in War Games. But I'm in for it. They put on a great show in the War Games. And I was lucky enough to see Zilla Fatu at Slammiversary at TNA a couple years ago, and he can go. That dude, just like Jacob Fatu, is all gas, no brakes. Yada da mean. And so I think that that it would be a great addition, and have a Fatu on each side, and that's gonna it'll be what it is, you know. I would have liked to see the belt go on Jacob. I think it still would have been too soon. Roman Reigns just got the belt, and so I think that we want to see what that tribal chief with the world title, what does that look like with this new form of the bloodline. And you saw how Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso, showed up at the end, and I love that they did not get involved in tribal combat. They didn't it was just Roman Reigns and
Yeah.
Jacob Fatu. And I thought that was a great, important added layer that they not only did that, but Roman Reigns mentioned it too. He was like, I didn't need anyone. I never needed anyone, and it's just like, this was good storytelling. Yeah, I think that we are set up for a lot of moving pieces, and I think it's just beginning.
Absolutely. There's really nothing much I have left to really add here. I think you nailed it on the head. It seems to me that they're going in the direction of Roman against Solo and MFT of some
Yeah.
sort. Maybe that's the in between feud that we get between now and SummerSlam. But um, yeah, we'll have to see what's going on, which is why it's like it's kind of hard for me to really, with Oba seemingly occupied right now, Roman seemingly occupied. Do they do this at SummerSlam? Who knows? What they have planned, and we'll have to go from there.
Yeah,
But
and these PLEs are coming out right around the corner. The next one's coming up in
yeah,
3 weeks.
just inside
4
4 weeks.
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically the fourth Saturday from now is the next pay-per-view. So you got a little time to build. But with that being said, that wraps up the talk of Clash of Italy. Clash in Italy, rather. Good show. Um, Me and the guys were pretty much happy with the pay-per-view. You can tell that they put effort into the matches. The fans were very much into it from the get-go, as expected out of international card. If you had this in the U.S., who knows how the crowd would have been, as the U.S. fans are normally very much more lazy than international fans. But anyhow, Italy definitely enjoyed themselves. They got a title change. They saw great matches. So good. I would say we have a solid B plus on
Yeah.
our hands for the pay per view that we saw today. But moving on, let's tie this into now. As of tomorrow begins the King of the Ring tournament. So this is where there are a couple things here that seem very, very odd of the participants that are in the King of the Ring, and what I mean by that is, well, we're gonna show you. I have a visual for you. I haven't looked at the whole entire list, but we're gonna look at it together here. Let me just pull it up. Let's see here. Here we go. Okay, if we can see that, we have Seth Rollins, Javon Evans, Tala Tonga, and Ricky Saints in a four-way on the top bracket. Jay Uso, LA Knight, Royce Keys, and Finn Balor on the bottom bracket in the four-way. Obviously, the winner of those matches will advance to that side of the semis. Then we got on the top left-hand corner, we have in a four-way Penta versus Oba Femi versus Solo Sikoa and Carmelo Hayes. And in the bottom right-hand corner, we have Rey Mysterio, Braun Breaker, Williams, and Priest. So, is this confirmed that this is going to be four-way matches?
Yes. Yeah, it was
Okay.
confirmed. It's fatal 4-way matches, and then the winners go into semifinal matches.
Okay, because the reason why I asked is because as you guys look, the boxes that outline each participant is either red or blue, signifying the brand that they are from. So I was wondering about that. I would have preferred one-on-one matches here, but so Joe, what do you think about the men's side here?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the instant favorite to me is Obafemi, but I have a feeling that there might be some foul play, and I think Brock Lesnar is going to cost Oba here to make an excuse to set up a third match at some point. But what do you think's the favorite here?
So I think Obafemi's definitely the heavy favorite here. Braun Breaker is another name that I could see going the distance. In fact, I love that semifinal possibility of Obafemi versus Braun Breaker. Uh, that'd be a crazy semifinal. Uh, I'm looking at who might be the on the other side there. I like the idea of Tala Tonga and Finn Balor winning their respective Fatal Four Ways to kind of create this. I'm not a big student of Japan wrestling, so I don't know how much Finn Balor and Tala Tonga cross paths in Japan. Maybe they did, and that'd be kind of cool. You also got Seth Rollins there. Obviously, the Night of Champions. It might be setting up for Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker, and the winner goes to SummerSlam.
That's very possible considering the feud that Seth Rollins has Braun Breaker, and Seth Rollins even hinted at the fact last week that he told Adam Pearce that he wants Braun Breaker. So this could be the way that we get there. But unfortunately, if that happens, Obafemi somehow would not win his match and probably get screwed. I don't think you're gonna have. You could very well have Obafemi and Braun Breaker in that semifinal match on that side of the bracket. But again, you're not gonna have Braun Breaker win that match cleanly. So I have a feeling the King of the Ring tournament, unfortunately, is gonna be what's used to set up another match between Lesnar and Oba, where Lesnar screws over Obafemi in that semifinal match, and then it causes one of the other guys to win instead of Oba in that match. More than likely, which probably gonna happen. Although, I mean, in my opinion, Obafemi is the favorite on paper and should win the tournament and go on to face Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. But now that's a little convoluted considering Roman Reigns is tied up with the Bloodline and MFT stuff.
Yeah.
It very well, you could be looking at Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker, and as we saw last week, Seth Rollins confronted Roman Reigns and basically told Roman Reigns to get out of his way. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes.
So
which is interesting because it's like an echoing the promo of Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, where he said, "You're in my way."
So do you think Seth Rollins is the favorite to win this?
I think so. However, I mean, does he need this? I don't think so. Interesting. I see out of the four brackets, three of them have former AEW wrestlers, and I think it'd be kind of funny to see Penta, Ricky Sates, and Roy Skis in the final four. I don't think that'll happen either, but I think they'll. Right? But I think I could see Seth Rollins versus either LA Knight or Finn Balor in the semis. Seth Rollins going to the finals, and then Obafemi is the only hang up here that I think should just breeze to the end here.
If Brock Lesnar somehow wasn't, if they had not booked Brock Lesnar to get a return match here, I would have been 100% confident that, and we were saying this before, even before Brock Lesnar came back and surprise attacked Oba to initiate a second match, that Oba should basically just do his open challenges all the way up until tomorrow, the start of the King of the Ring tournament, and then plow through the King of the Ring, and then become number one contender for the WWE Championship or World Heavyweight title of his choice, and have a year like Brock Lesnar did in 2002. But now that's all been I would say convoluted in a way where it's to the point where I have no directional and like I have no
Yeah.
clue in which direction to go with that, and neither do I have as much confidence that they're gonna book Oba Femi right in the King of the Ring like they should have been. But now that Oba's focused in on the Brock Lesnar stuff right now.
Yeah, he's got to go through Dominic Mysterio too. Dominic Mysterio's in that bracket. It might be Dominic
Oba
Mysterio versus
Dominic.
Oba in the
Oh my
semifinal,
gosh, that we
and then Brock Lesnar interferes there. Dominic Mysterio goes to the finals.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
There's that's where it's gonna be. It's gonna be Oba Femi versus Dominic Mysterio in the semis. Brock Lesnar's gonna ruin that. Dominic Mysterio's going to the finals.
Let me see this bracket again. In the bottom you have I don't see Mysterio getting past Breaker and Trick Williams.
Unless he steals it, he could steal it. And I would honestly, maybe that's why Priest is in it, so that he can take the pin.
And I don't know.
He gets speared, and then he gets super speared. Mysterio throws Breaker out, steals the win.
I also do not know why we have a United States champion.
Yeah.
In this tournament,
and the IC champion. You have Penta.
And the IC. I don't understand it. You know, because just open up the slots for 2 more people and let them defend their titles.
Yep.
But anyway, well, it gets a little bit more weird looking at the women's side of things. How in the world do you have a world heavyweight champion in the King of the Ring tournament?
The only option that I would have is
what are you
just
gonna
let her defend it.
Win it.
Let her defend it. The whole tournament is her defending it. If she loses just one match, then we have a new champion at the end. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. She went on to the post show and she was just yelling, "I want it all," and so she doesn't care. And plus, she is the defending Queen of the Ring.
I mean, okay, listen. If she says she wants it all, then great. I mean, that's an excuse to get her into the tournament and become a #1 contender.
But she's taking up a spot.
Now she, taking up a spot, and then have her go against Rhea, maybe merge the women's title. We don't need 2 women's champions, to be honest with you. But how? Otherwise, there really is, no logical sense here. You got Bliss and Lynch in there. Great. Lynch just lost her Intercontinental title. So maybe you can have Becky Lynch, go in and win, and then maybe challenge Liv Morgan, at a later date.
But why?
You got Sol
But then
Ruca,
why challenge
title.
Liv Morgan if you beat her in a tournament? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But then we've already seen, and we've seen a lot of Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley in the past couple of years. So does WWE want to visit that again? I don't know. Wouldn't mind it, but still, we have seen it before. Then you got an Intercontinental Champion who just won tonight, Sol Ruca, who, again, she's a title holder. Why are we taking up that spot? There's women that could have been on here. You could have had Gargano's wife, with Candice LeRae. You could have had Nia Jackson here. You could have had Ivy Nile
Roxanne Perez
in this tournament. Roxanne Perez is in this, and I think that this women's tournament is built for possibly Roxanne Perez to probably be the Queen of the Ring to set up Liv Morgan.
Oh, that would be kind of cool to put Roxanne. We're in the Final Four. You could also have Raquel, Roxanne, Liv Morgan, and then just a 4th.
Yeah, and you know what? I also see we have Lyra Valkyria in there. In my opinion, she is the best, if not top 3 wrestlers amongst the females in all of WWE. You gotta have Lyra Valkyria. You can heat her up to have a title run, or be a contender. You got Flair, Jade Cargill in the mix. But I'm looking at this bracket. I feel like this is really set up for Roxanne or JC Jane to advance. And then possibly... I mean, tough call. I mean, you really legitimately could have Liv Morgan or Becky Lynch advance. And looking at the bottom, maybe like Charlotte Flair, or you got to go Valkyria. So, what do you think?
I think there's too many options and no clear path, especially with Liv Morgan kind of confusing it all. The fantasy booker in me wants Liv Morgan to go all the way and go against Roxanne Perez and just implode the Judgment Day that way. That Roxanne Perez has to go through Raquel Rodriguez and then Liv Morgan to become champion. So she's got to beat everyone in the Judgment Day to get to be champion.
This could be very, very interesting. So what you're saying is you have Liv Morgan and Roxanne in the final. Obviously, that wouldn't be for the world.
Oh no, you're right. It would just be for Queen of the. It would be the
Queen of the Ring. Yeah, and
then
if
setting
Roxanne
up
wins,
you're right.
That would set her up as number one contender, which more than likely she would choose Liv Morgan, and we get that return match at SummerSlam. But that is the preview talk of WWE King of the Ring. This pretty much concludes our WWE post-show for Clash in Italy. What a weekend we've had. What 2 straight weekends we've had. We've had Saturday Night's Main Event. We had AEW Double or Nothing. We had SmackDown. We had AAA last night, and then we had Clash in Italy today. We have Raw tomorrow, NXT Tuesday, Dynamite on Wednesday. There is a lot of wrestling to go around. Too much for us to even talk about, but wow, what a time we live in. Anyway, Joe, any last minute thoughts before we sign off?
No, man, it's been great to finally come back and get on the pod, and thanks for having me, bro.
Joe, thank you so much for hopping on. Those of you guys that are watching, we will be back Tuesday night, me and Brandon, aka Bash, to cover WWE Raw and some more updates with King of the Ring and his thoughts on AAA main event. So we will be back on Tuesday. So for those of you guys that are watching, thank you so much for hopping on. Joe, thank you so much for joining us for our PLE post-show Clash in Italy. And we will talk to you guys soon.
Agility from the champion. Jade 6! That could be it.